Summary of the interpretation of Surah An-Nisa verse 1. The verse begins with a general call to all people to piety, meaning that a person should protect themselves from the wrath of their Lord by obeying Him and refraining from disobeying Him. The verse connects this call to a fundamental truth that no one can deny that God is the Creator who brought humankind into existence from a single origin, then made them into a pair, and from them men and women multiplied on earth. This affirms the unity of human origin, and that all are equal in the fundamental truth of creation. The verse then reminds people to fear God again, linking it to great rights such as kinship, because all human relationships are based on the common foundation of mercy and kinship. It concludes by stating that God is the watcher, meaning He is aware of and observes all actions. Nothing is hidden from Him. This instills in the heart a constant awareness of God's watchfulness in secret and in public. Summary of the interpretation of Surah An-Nisa, verse 2. This verse clarifies the most important principle in dealing with orphans' money, preserving their rights in full and returning them without any reduction or delay. It warns against mixing lawful money with unlawful money, or replacing good with bad, because this is a grave injustice and a great sin. It also prohibits misappropriating their money by adding it to the guardian's own funds or using it for personal gain, because the orphan is vulnerable and unable to defend their rights. Therefore, Islamic law came to protect them completely. The general meaning is that guardianship is not a means of personal gain, but rather a weighty trust that requires honesty and justice until the orphan reaches maturity and their money is handed over to them in full. Summary of the interpretation of Surah An-Nisa, verse 3. This verse addresses a sensitive issue: a man's fear of wronging an orphan girl if he marries her while being her guardian. The Quran advises him to avoid this path if he fears injustice, and opens another avenue by allowing him to marry other women. The legislation of polygamy here is linked to a fundamental condition: justice in the number of wives, treatment, financial support, overnight stays, and all other apparent rights. If a man fears he cannot be just, he should limit himself to one wife, as this is safer from injustice and deviation. The verse concludes by stating that this entire divine regulation aims to prevent injustice and achieve righteousness in family life.